at it again, and we have one with Michael Knowles. I will apologize in advance, guys. I am going to have to start censoring these videos a little bit more than I have been. Obviously, it is not up to me. If it was up to me, I wouldn't censor it. But as I'm sure you guys know already, I'm not in control of that, okay? You know, there's some people, you know, I don't need to dive too deep into it, but I will apologize in advance if some things are bleeped out. Yeah, I had to, all right? Anyway, thank you guys for all of the continued love and support. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you're new. Let's dive in.
You also said that the U.S. intervened, that the U.S. funnels money into other countries, right? In aid and things like that.
Right, much more than any other country in the history of the world by a long shot.
Did you also talk about how the U.S. intervenes in countries in other ways, like war, and that the U.S. is...
Is she on the phone or recording? I can't tell. Because at first it looked like she said right, and like as if to like ask whoever is, you know, FaceTiming her or whatever on the phone. I'm confused. Hold on. I'm gonna run that back. That was a little strange.
Money into other countries, right? In aid and things like that.
Yeah. See, she's looking down at the phone like she's asking someone a question, like to confirm that she said the right thing.
Right, much more than any other country in the history of the world by a long shot.
Did you also talk about how the U.S. intervenes in countries in other ways, like war, and that the U.S. is tearing up these countries? And
which countries
these are
in particular are you concerned
for? Okay, so...
You mean when the United States invaded Afghanistan to overturn the Taliban? Do you think? Well, because you're making statements that are not specific, look, so I want to get to the heart of your question.
Okay, but let me just, with what I'm giving you right now, try to answer my question. Okay, so if the U.S. is intervening in countries, and these
when we give foreign aid, we
have
intervene.
Immigrants that are fleeing. Where do you expect these immigrants to go when the U.S. intervenes in these countries that don't ask for U.S. intervention?
Which country? Well, yes, the Taliban in Afghanistan didn't ask for U.S. intervention.
I'm just leaving it as
well, I guess
an
they
open
did ask
general
for
question.
it when they
I'm
flew
not going to
two planes.
specifically narrow it down to any sort of
I know you can't narrow it down because when you get specific, your point falls apart.
You know what's crazy? That's a recurring thing that's happened with a lot of people from the left that we've watched right here on this channel. They speak in like general terms. It's never truly like specific. It's never clearly defined. It's just like this general, sometimes overly confusing mishmash kind of thing. And I think the reasoning is so they have a way out of the situation. Because in the few situations where we have seen people get specific, it turns into name calling and storming off. We've watched it right here on the channel. So that's a recurring thing. But anyway, let's continue.
Sort of
I know you can't narrow it down because when you get specific, your point falls apart. In the general, your point sounds like it makes sense. But in the specific, it doesn't make sense.
You mentioned women that are raped when they cross the border, but you're not mentioning the children that are being raped in the detention centers at your borders.
Well, 80%.
I'm going to have to bleep that word out. But she said the R word. Okay. Well, not the R word that you guys are used to me saying. The R word with a P in it. Okay. Yeah. Not the RAC word. The R word with the P. All right. That word. But I'm going to have to bleep it out. You know, I'm sorry, but I got to. I have to.
Percent of women and girls who cross the border illegally are along that journey by the who have been permitted to run free along the border. What percentage of children who have been brought in by their parents to this foreign country, what percentage of children are you suggesting are being raped by U.S. government officials?
Well, where are the children in the detention centers?
There's
children that went missing as well.
You made a claim, and I'm just asking what percentage of the children being, you said U.S. children in U.S. detention are being raped by government officials. Do you have any evidence for that whatsoever?
Government officials.
You said they're being
in detention centers.
By whom?
I never mentioned by who.
By whom? By whom are you suggesting?
Okay, but who's keeping these detention centers?
So you don't have by whom are you saying they're being victimized? If there is an epidemic of children being in these detention centers, and you have some evidence of that, you better present that. That sounds like a terrible thing.
These children from their parents in these detention centers.
So children are separated from their parents, not because of a policy of Donald Trump, not even because of a policy of Barack Obama, but because of a policy that was determined in 1997 called the Flores Agreement during the Clinton administration. And the reason for that is that when illegal aliens come into our country, they are apprehended by law enforcement. But if they're held for longer than a short period of time, you can't put children in jails. I don't think anybody wants us to put children in jails. That is literally caging children. So the children are separated from their parents because the parents are dealt with by law enforcement and the children are dealt with by the Department of Health and Human Services. The only alternative to this would be to put children in jails or else to let the parents go free without any consequences for entering the country, which is to say the only alternative is totally open borders in the United States. Is that what you're suggesting?
So you're saying the children in cages right now aren't?
Which children are, how many children are in cages right now?
The children at the
How many?
detention centers.
You're so certain of this. How many children are in cages?
Somebody handed her a phone with more info. Why didn't that person just stand up and talk? Well, it seems like she's talking to someone. Actually, hold on. Wait a second. I might be able to look off of her glasses and see what it is that she's looking at. You know, the reflection? It kind of does look like I see a face in the reflection of her glasses there. What do you guys think? Do you see a face right there? Like there's the chin, jawline. Let me know. And then someone else just handed her another phone. So we'll see how this one goes. All right, let's find out.
The children at the
How many?
detention centers.
You're so certain of this. How many children are in cages right now?
The federal government received more than 4,500 complaints in 4 years about of immigrant children who were being held at government-funded detention facilities, including an increase in complaints while the Trump administration's policy of separating migrant families at the border was in place.
There's also been a surge in illegal immigration. We now have 3,000 people per month coming into this country, and a surge in children. So naturally, any offense that involves children is going to increase. I agree with you. Illegal immigration is a horrific and immoral action, and it should not be encouraged by craven politicians who think that they can grab a few extra votes by encouraging the victimization of desperate foreigners and their children.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we witnessed an absolute first there. I got 2 phones. I've never seen such a thing. FaceTiming one person trying to get the answers, which I'm assuming the person was probably holding up like a dry erase board or some paper or something because you couldn't hear the person talk. Or maybe they were just nodding yes or no. And you would assume, because it didn't even look like she had headphones in, you would assume that you would have been able to hear the person talk if they were actually speaking because she had the microphone right there. So she had terrible questions even with the FaceTime person. So another person realized that and brought her another phone with more bad information. Sheesh Louise, you lost with 2 phones. How does that even work? And listen, the way that I feel about this whole border situation, is it bad that, you know, the youngins have been possibly messed with? I got to be careful with my words. I got to censor myself. Yes, of course, that should not be happening. But you also shouldn't be crossing the border illegally. So I think the policy should just be, no, turn them right back around and send them back packing. The way that I see it. But y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comment section. You know, instead of doing this whole separating situation because we're putting these people in jail or whatever, forget about all that. Send them right back to where they came from. Turn them right back around. Which is where, dare I say, a wall. You know, like a tall structure that like went very deep in the ground. It was pretty high in the air. You know, where one of those types of structures would have just come in handy. I'm just saying, you know, no offense to any of those folks. And I get they're coming from bad situations, but there's a proper way to do things. It's not to say that we don't want those people here or anything like that, but there's a proper way to do things. There's plenty of people that have come here the proper way and have waited and done, like I said, done things the right way. It's a slap in the face to them if we just allow people to just waltz in. I'm just saying. So Do it the right way. Get all your proper documentation, all that good stuff, and we'll welcome you with open arms. Doing it the wrong way, I think you should be sent back packing. We're not even going to hold you here. We're not going to do all the separating stuff. Just turn you right back around. And with a structure that was pretty tall and went pretty deep, it would have been a lot easier. But that's just my opinion. Y'all can let me know how y'all feel about it in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, and of course, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.